All right, everybody. It's time for Belovsky Science. Today is December the 9th, 2020. We're coming to the end of chapter 21, getting ready for the test coming up on Friday. Today is Wednesday, and this video, of course, is for those people that are absent, quarantined, sick, whatever the reason, whether you might be home. It's to help you get caught up on what we did today in class. Number one, you need to do the warm up. Warm-ups are due on Friday. They will not be due on Sunday. They must be turned in before 11:59 on Friday. You need to watch the video, follow directions in the video when I'm telling you to write down the definitions. The Chapter 21 Lesson 2 review sheet is due today. In fact, it is due in 40 minutes. Most likely, if you're watching this video, you're going to turn it in late. Go ahead and turn it in. If you have not turned it in and you don't have you've got excused absence or something, there's a reason, that you haven't turned it in, let me know. But, if you just haven't turned it in because you haven't turned it in, well, then, you can still get half credit out of it. So get it turned in. And the chapter 21 test is Friday, and it has to be taken by 11:59 also on Friday night. So let's get into the information. Let's take a look here at your classwork page real quick. This right here is the video that I'm making right now. This right here is your review for the test, which is open and ready to go. This is the chapter review, and it won't be graded, but you can go ahead and be looking at that and be seeing which definitions you know real well and ones that you don't know. This is the lesson 3 review sheet. This will not be graded as well, but it will help you to study for the chapter test, 21 test. The warm-up, you need to get it taken care of. We finished lesson 2 yesterday. So let's click on lesson 3. Click on the textbook here. And what you need to be really concerned about with this review sheet right here is, let's scroll down here. You need to start with number 21, habitat. And that is where I'm going to start picking up with definitions today. So, all right, let's scroll down here. And we went a little over. All right, today we're going to start talking about communities. All right, we're going to be talking about the area around where you live. And the area around where you live, where you do your living, and the various other places is called your habitat. All right, so for habitat, let's get a marker here. Habitat is the place within an ecosystem where an organism lives. Okay, your home, school, your grandparents' house, if you go over there and spend time, the park where you go and play basketball. All right, any of those places is part of your habitat. Okay, hit pause. All right, the place within an ecosystem where an organism lives. All right, so any place where you go around, where you spend time, where you live, is part of your habitat, and that includes your home. This classroom is part of my habitat. I spend more time in this classroom than I really do my home, just about. So your habitat is just the place where you hang out. Now, many people have snakes and they have these aquariums, and the snakes live in that habitat. Well, that is an artificial habitat. Okay, that's where you take care of that snake. And for many snakes, that is their true habitat because they never know what it's like to live in the wild. So anyway, a habitat is basically where you live. All right, the next word is pronounced niche right there. And a niche is what a species does in its habitat to survive. Hit pause. What do I do in my habitat to survive? Well, lots of people have been saying today, drink sweet tea. No. Lots of people have been saying, eat. No. It's what is your job inside the habitat. My job is I'm a school teacher. That is how I make my money to survive. That's what provides me with food, shelter, and that's how my family has food and shelter as well. Um, Basically, a niche is what is the job of that species. As a student, your job is to learn. Your job is to go to school and to take in as much as you can. Organisms other than humans have niches as well, such as bats. All right, here is a bat, and bats, part of their jobs is to hunt down insects and eat them, especially here in North Alabama. That's how we get rid of a lot of our mosquitoes. Some bats will eat fruits. Um, you see, I'm looking at these different pictures here and how it shows a lot of these mosquitoes. All right. But, every organism on earth has a job that it is supposed to fulfill. And whatever that job might be is called its niche. Okay. The next word is a producer. And we have talked about producers over and over and over again. A producer or producers are organisms that get energy from the environment. Okay. Plants get their energy from the environment, from the sunlight around them. That is a producer. Hit pause and type that in. All right. It doesn't matter what type of organism you are, plant, bacteria, protist. If you get your energy from the sunlight through photosynthesis, you are a producer. So a producer produces its own food. That's one way to remember it. All right. Now, consumers is the exact opposite. Consumers are organisms that get energy by eating other organisms. We humans are consumers. We eat other consumers. We eat other consumers like beef, pork. Um, we eat chicken, fish, and they eat other things. Okay. And we eat them. Now, we also eat producers. I like a good salad from time to time. I like to eat broccoli. I like asparagus. I do not like to eat certain beans, and I don't like to eat cauliflower and Brussels sprouts. Bleh. But those are producers. They are plants. So if you eat those things, then you are if you eat other producers and other consumers, you are a consumer. All right. Let's see here. Food chain. All right. We've already talked about food chain. Don't have to spend a lot of time on food chain. A food chain is right here. It's not highlighted. A food chain is a way of showing how energy moves through a community. All right. Here is a great example of a food chain. Sun gives energy to leaves. Leaves give energy to sloth. Sloth gives energy to the eagle. When the eagle dies, it gives energy to bacteria. All right. Notice it starts and ends. That's how a food chain works. Okay. Now, sometimes you get all of these. Now, if you'll look here, you'll see all these different food chains laying on top of each other. The sun gives energy to leaves. The sun gives energy to flowers. The sun gives energy to fruit. And then the fruit gives energy to the squirrel monkey. And the squirrel gives it some energy to the harpy eagle. All right. So those are all examples of a food chain. Hit pause and type it in. Sorry, I forgot to tell you to hit pause. So a food chain is a food web is just a bunch of food chains laying on top of each other. So what is a food web? All right, write this down. A food web. Well, don't write all that. Let me erase that because some of you will write that. A Food web shows many food chains within a community and how they develop. Don't write this right here. A food web shows many food chains within a community and how they develop. This is a great example of a food chain. All right. The next word is a predator. Okay. Here is predator right here. Predator hunts other animals for food. Okay. I am a predator. Or hit pause. I am a predator. Even though I don't have a gun, I am a predator because I eat other things. And when your species is able to hunt, or if your species is able to gather certain species themselves for eating purposes, you are a predator. We gather cows, we gather pigs, we gather chickens and other things for reasons to eat them. Okay. And that means that we are predators. All right. All right. Let me pick me out another color here. All right. The next word that we're going to talk about are relationships between animals. And one of them is the symbiotic relationship. What is a symbiosis? All right. Here's the word right here. All right. Write this down. No. Here it is. A close long-term relationship between two species that usually involves an exchange of food or energy. Okay. Symbiosis is a long-term relationship between two species that usually involves an exchange of food for energy. Hit pause. Okay. If I ask you what is a symbiotic relationship and you said a mother and child, no. It's got to be two different species. Okay. So it is a symbiotic relationship is usually how one creature gets a food and the other one gets something beneficial from it. For example, here, the sea anemone and the clownfish. Okay, the clownfish is protected by the sea anemone. The sea anemone stings things. Well, the clownfish has something protective in its skin. And so the sea anemone cannot sting the clownfish. So basically, the clownfish can hang out in the sea anemone for protection. Nothing will go in there because it will get stung. Now, when the clownfish is eating things, some of those food particles get stuck in the sea anemone, and it can be beneficial to the sea anemone. So they both get something good out of the relationship. The clownfish gets protected. The sea anemone gets a little bit of nutrients. Okay, that right there is symbiosis. Symbiosis is when you get two creatures that have some sort of relationship with each other, and usually one of them involves food. Well, the definition, or what I just showed you, is also not only known as symbiosis, but it is also known as mutualism. The next word is mutualism. All right, what is mutualism? It is a symbiotic relationship in which both partners benefit. It's called mutualism. All right. The sea anemone gets a little bit of nutrients. The clownfish are protected. That right there is mutualism. They both get something good out of the deal. Okay. All right. What is something else that fits into that category? You and your dog. Okay. Your dog gets food, gets shelter, gets water. You care for it. And in return, your dog, if you do those things, will endlessly love you. You know, when I come home from baseball practice, what's the first thing that meets me at the door? It's not my wife. It's not my daughter. It's the dog. Murphy the dog is right now the first thing that meets me, wagging his tail, wanting to say hello. And that's true for most everybody that has a dog. The dog will endlessly love you without hesitation. Not unless you beat a dog will it ever, start showing attitude towards you. Dogs are always happy to see their masters. And now think of all the good things we get from a dog. We get a relationship, we get protection. Murphy is starting to hear things outside the house and bark, and I'm like, yeah, bark at it, buddy, because I want him to let me know if there's something outside. We have service animals that help the blind, help those in the hospital to recover. People that suffer anxiety issues might have a service animal with them. So there's all kinds of things that a dog does in return for us giving him food, water, shelter, and love. They do all those things for us. A mutualistic relationship. All right. Let's see here. Let's go down here to the next one. All right. Next, we have commensalism. What is commensalism? A symbiotic relationship that benefits one species, but it does not harm or benefit the other. That is commensalism. Hit pause and I'll talk about it. All right. What is commensalism? Well, it's a symbiotic relationship. And here's a great example of it. Lots of you girls out there are familiar with orchids. Not too many guys know about orchids yet. Many orchids will grow on the side of a tree, not in the ground. For example, right here's a good example of one. The orchid gets something good from the tree. It gets water as it runs down the limb during rain. It gets some protection from sunlight because some orchids are very delicate. All right. What does the tree get in return? Nothing. But it doesn't hurt the tree, but the tree gets nothing in return. Okay. That right there is a good example of commensalism. The tree gets nothing, but the orchid gets water, some nutrients, and some shade from the tree. Great example of commensalism. All right. And then the last one, and everybody has heard of this one. We've said this one today. People are like, oh, yeah. Parasitism. What is parasitism? It is a symbiotic relationship that benefits one species and it harms the other. All right. Parasitism is when, and I'm going to give you a moment to write it down or type it in. But parasitism is when a organism hurts another organism to get something good from it. Okay? An example would be mistletoe. It's the holiday season, and everybody knows about mistletoe. You get kisses under the mistletoe. Well, mistletoe actually grows in trees, and it can take over a tree and it can cause a tree to die because the mistletoe steals water and nutrients from the tree. And so if enough of it gets in the tree, it can cause the tree not to be able to function properly, and it can kill the tree. Some other parasites for us, mosquitoes during the summertime. They suck our blood for food and for their eggs. And they leave us with nothing but a itchy spot on our skin. Dogs and cats have fleas and ticks that suck their blood out of them. All right. That is also parasitism, parasites. They're bad. We don't want them. Well, all right. Well, that's it. That's it for chapter 21. We are now done. You have all the information that you need now for the test. The test will be on Friday. What you need to do is those of you that are home, not in class, what you need to do is you probably want to answer a few of the definitions today. You want to probably type the definitions in, and you may want to answer the questions tomorrow. Not real sure yet if I'm going to make it so that this has to be turned in since we're stacked up back here on Friday and there's so much work that's already got to be due. So, but you do want to do it to help yourself to study. So I'm going to bring this video chat to an end here. I hope you have a great day. If you have any questions, email me. Be getting the chapter 21 section 2 in. Study for your chapter 21 test and Trying to see if there's anything I have forgotten. Warm-ups will be due Friday by 11:59. So keep that in mind. Other than that, I hope you have a good day. Study hard and stay safe, everybody. We'll see you later on. Bye.